Hi, welcome. Hello. This week, welcome to User Experience Design. This is our low fidelity week. So we are taking, last week was wireframing, right? And getting ready for or trying to understand layout design and wireframes. And then this week we are doing a low fidelity mockup. So you're going to have a little bit of a reading or a little bit of reading. I want you to kind of take a look at some of these mock-up links that I have here. And then I want to show you an example. Here's an example from a student of what a low fidelity looks like. And I have a quick PowerPoint. So let's get into that. So basically, we're at this point now where we only have a few more weeks left, and it is crunch time. So we are now just, we're just getting through it. So we need to build out our wireframes into actual designs. So where am I here? Is it Keynote? I'm on my Mac, and I'll just open it again. Let's see her. Oh, I must have closed it. Okay, here we go. So yes, so last week we did wireframes, and those were just kind of like the building blocks. Let me just get into this because I talk about it exactly. So this week is low fidelity mockups. Last week we did these wireframes, and that's exactly what it is. She's got a pencil. We're kind of just like sketching ideas out. Maybe we're thinking about color. Maybe we're thinking about where to lay things out or how to do a login or blah, 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 blah. Now in the mock-up, we're actually making it real and making it look real, like it's a real website or app. So wireframes are typically very simplistic with minimal visual details, whereas a low fidelity mock-up may add some visual elements to give a better idea of the product's look and feel, even at a basic level. And I'm going to show you how basic it could be. You don't have to fully do it in color. This is a wireframe, right? So we're doing a mock-up, which is a static design of your future product. So we're starting to actually really design it now. This is like the nitty-gritty. From here on out, we're just doing low fidelity and high fidelity, and that's it. That's all you're giving me. We're not prototyping. You're going to prototype in the next class in User Experience 2. So, did I just do that? But User Experience 2. So you're going to make sure that your mock-ups are clean and concise for this class. That's your final to me, is a high fidelity mock-up. So this low fidelity mock-up is going to bleed right into the high fidelity because you're going to start building things out to where it looks pretty and it's like almost done. And it's going to be similar to your final product, which you're going to prototype and use at UX2. So on the left, we have a design of a wireframe, and on the right is the low fidelity mockup. Again, left is a wireframe, and on the right is a mockup. And if you notice on the mockup, it's got the same picture, so you don't have to put in every tiny detail. You can just kind of lay it out, but just give it a little bit more zhuzh than the X boxes, right? So a wireframe is the structure and the function and just like what kind of content you're using. And then on the right is a mock-up, which you think about style, you're thinking about colors, you're thinking about right content. So a mock-up helps to establish the color schemes, content layouts, the brand fonts, icons, and navigational considerations. This is where the UI UX come into play and integrate branding elements. So here we go. This is a wireframe and that's a mock-up. We went from sketch to wireframing to a low fidelity and then a high fidelity mock-up. That's the whole trajectory, and that's the rest of this class. And then you're done. So this low fidelity where we are in the middle here is on its way, right? So we're getting it prepped to be a real prototype. So why mock-ups? Why do we call it? This is like an old ad word, honestly, but it's still very used in the design field. And mock-ups help a business set up the early stages of a design system. And that could be anything from Amazon or Starbucks, these huge companies, their design system. I mean, Google has its own design system. A lot of them already have their own design systems. Or we're just taking a design system and we're making one for a small business like Stafford's or something, right? An app. So as teams and companies grow and change, alignment requires persistence to maintain. This is where the ability to showcase the product early on to get constant feedback and buy-in helps. That way, nothing is a surprise to anyone since they've been involved early on in the process, right? So that's why we do these lo-fi, we do mock-ups, we do all these different versions because, you know, the CEO might have a different idea of what he wants and then somebody else. But if you get everyone in a room and you usually, the designer is the one on the computer, on the projector. That's how I lived. I was always the one who brought the laptop that connected to the projector and was doing live changes when people are saying, no, I like that yellow color, or we don't like that font. Pick something else, and you do it live. Hopefully it won't be that rigorous, but it can be that way. And that is what your job as a designer is. So mock-ups are a huge deal, and you have to get everybody to agree before you make the final product, right? So mock-ups are accurate visual representations of a final product, app, or website. And these illustrations include color, contrast, content, icons, and other design details. So you need to think about all of the things that are going to be in your mock-up. So for our low fidelity mock-up, this is the first iteration of what you want your app to look like. So, you know, right here in the middle is where we're at. We did the wireframe. Now we're doing the low fidelity, and then the high fidelity is the end, right? And you could see at the high fidelity, they ended up changing, but they got the basic design down. So think about contrast, color, content. You could go and look at colors. You could create a style guide. Think about videos or thumbnails or logos or icons and accessibility. If you are currently creating content for your app or site in Photoshop, Illustrator, Canva, etc., Figma, feel free to use placeholder images and text for your low fidelity mockup until you have the content fully done. Okay, this is not my exact link or my exact example. I wanted to show you examples from locally from students that have taken this from me in the past. Here is an example. This is the donut factory here in Porterville. This is the final of one of my students. And this is exactly what I'm looking for your final, right? We've got creative brief, competitive analysis, personas, wireframes, low fidelity, high fidelity, right? So in the low fidelity, you can see that they kind of, and then I love it when you give me notes. So I love it that the hand is waving. Hi. But you could give me notes. And tell me, I started to add color, because this is actually what is going to go on your portfolio. And you see, they even titled it Final Case Study. So this is pretty much what I'm looking for. If you want to do it snazzier and fancier slides, I prefer that. But, you know, this is where we're at. So we are almost done. The next assignment is to do your high fidelity, and you are done with my case study for this UX one. Woohoo! Yeah! So basically, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to kind of start fleshing out things, but it doesn't have to be fully fleshed out, right? It's not all of the images there. The colors, maybe you're still working on. Other things like that. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. It's a nice rainy day here. And I hope everyone is doing well and feeling well. Yeah, we got a few more weeks. I hope you have a great holiday. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.